In Mexico, pre-candidates close the campaign events as political parties will decide on its runners for the 2024 polls. In the United States, hundreds of people are still missing after the devastating wildfires on the island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. And the tensions rise in northern India under a large police deployment after a wave of violence between Hindus and Muslims earlier this month, which resulted in 6 fatalities. Hello from the headquarters of teleSUR English in Havana, Cuba. This is From the South. I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. And now we begin with the news. In Mexico, pre-candidate Marcelo Ebrard held his last campaign event in the nation's capital before the ruling Morena party decides who will be its candidate for the 2024 polls. The former Mexican foreign minister addressed some 20,000 people gathered in the Arena Stadium in Mexico City. During the weekend's events, the 6 aspirants to the presidential candidacy of the ruling National Regeneration Movement concluded their political tours around the country. Starting on Monday, a survey will be carried out among its bases, and on September the 6th, the definitive candidate of the ruling party will be announced, where a debate between the former mayor of Mexico City, Claudia Sheinbaum, and the former chancellor, Marcelo Ebrard, will be held.
Today is the beginning of the future of Mexico. Today we begin the road to win the election of 2024. To defend the fourth transformation, to take it to the next level, to reach 2030 with the objectives that I have told you about.
On Sunday, police officers of the Peruvian province of Tacna repressed anti-government protesters. The demonstrators gathered to reject the visit of President Dina Boluarte to that southern city as the head of state attended the celebrations of the 94th anniversary of the reincorporation of Tacna to the national heritage. The confrontations took place near the Casa Andina Hotel, where the activity was taking place with the presence of Boluarte and the full ministerial cabinet. The detainees were taken in national police vehicles. Anti-Boluarte demonstrations have been more scattered, but remain as people keep showing their discontent with the de facto installed government. And despite the U.S. sanctions and the Western media narratives of a spiraling economy, Venezuela thrives thanks to its resilience and the strength of its people. To showcase the reality of the South American nation beyond all the misconceptions or the fake news, teleSUR presents the series Venezuela on the Move, touring the nation from north to the south, from the mountains to the plainlands. In its first episode, our colleague Adriana Sibori takes us to Portuguesa State, where prosperity rises from the cornfields. Let's see.
In oil-rich Venezuela, corn is planted. It is part of Venezuelans' daily diet, and depending on the variety, is also used for animal feed. Its cultivation responds to climate behavior. However, experts assure that with good soil moisture management is well maintained.
The land here is privileged, with very good yields. In previous years, we have been declining, but we are trying to get ahead with good production and good yields.
Production seems to be advancing in the center of the nation, where Los Manires is located, one of the private farms that produces corn. Antonio works here. He's an innate expert and crop specialist.
I graduated in 2018, but I have been working with my father since I was a child. A great teacher with empirical knowledge, very valuable to put into practice here, and greatly complements the scientific knowledge the university gave me.
They carefully check each plant. This farm is expecting this year production of corn cob to exceed 9,000 kilograms.
Normal plague, and here is the will of God, as we say. Everything is normal here, everything is out of danger. The only thing left to do is to remove weeds. But everything is under control.
Corn is the most important crop in the agricultural sector, which increased by 52%, something that was achieved despite of the blockade imposed by the United States, according to government data.
We already have businessmen from Argentina, from China, from Turkey, from Uruguay, who are cultivating in alliance with our producers. It was not that they came here and grabbed the land. No, it is with our producers, financing that production, which was one of the drawbacks we had regarding financing. Because if we did not have any revenue with reeds, how could we finance ourselves, right?
In this Caribbean country, according to government data, the overall cereal production grew by 48% compared to the previous year.
Adriana Sibur y Jesús Romero, teleSUR.
And now let's take a short break. But remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find the news in different formats, news updates, and more. Other studies coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. Early Sunday morning, a shooting near a Louisville restaurant left one man dead and 5 others wounded by gunfire in the United States. Louisville Police Major Shannon Loder reported that law enforcement arrived on the scene in downtown Louisville around 3 a.m. and found a dead man at the scene. Media reports indicate that one of the victims, a gunshot-wounded man, was taken to a hospital in critical condition, and 4 other people suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police will continue the investigations into what happened.
Around 3 a.m. this morning, LMPD had received a report of multiple gunshot victims at the Southern Lounge and Restaurant behind me at 3rd and Market. When officers arrived on scene, they located a male victim suffering from a gunshot wound who was deceased on scene. Another male suffering from critical injuries was transported by EMS to University Hospital, where he remains in critical condition. 4 additional victims self-transported themselves to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No, they're not.
Now we move on to other topics. In the United States, hundreds of people are still missing after the devastating wildfires on the island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. Authorities reported that there are around 300 people missing after rescue workers completed their search in 99% of the burnt areas. The wildfires, which began on August the 8th and killed at least 115 people, are the deadliest in the United States in over a century and the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history. Still, in the coming days, told to rise. So far, no official explanation has been given as to what caused the fires. A serious landslide blocked railway connections between France and Italy. The landslide took place in the French department of Savoie, affecting a highway and a railroad track. According to the report submitted by local authorities, several rocks crashed against the protective screen installed at the site as a preventive measure. So far, several roads have been indefinitely closed, and vehicles over 3.5 tons are not allowed to drive through the tunnel linking France and Italy. Railway services between the 2 countries have also been interrupted. On Sunday in Spain, a strong storm affected the Balearic Islands with torrential rains that caused flash floods. The storm hit several areas with strong winds and rains. Images of furniture blown from a balcony and fallen trees that damaged cars were disseminated on social networks. Power outages affected thousands of homes. A 300-meter-long tourist cruise ship docked in the Balearic port of Palma collided with a moored oil tanker. The storm caused 45 flights to be either cancelled or or diverted at the three Balearic airports, Palma, Ibiza, and Menorca. In China, Commerce Minister Wang Wentao and U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo met on Monday morning in Beijing to exchange views on bilateral trade. Raimondo arrived in the Chinese capital on Sunday for a four-day visit to China at the invitation of Wang. The talks are a new attempt by the two nations to repair the deteriorating ties between the world's two largest economies. Chinese Commerce Ministry spokesperson Xu Huantin said China looks forward to in-depth discussions to resolve economic and trade differences and to promote practical cooperation between the two countries. Raimondo scheduled meetings with Chinese officials and the U.S. business leaders in Shanghai in an effort to promote healthy competition. On Monday, China announced that it will lift COVID-19 testing requirements for people arriving from abroad.
August the 30th, 2023, people arriving in China will no longer be required to undergo a nucleic acid or a coronavirus antigen test prior to entry.
And teleSUR English launches its own videos on demand site for you to go and revisit our interviews, the top stories, the special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the top left corner in our website homepage and click on the video option to access our VOD platform. And now we will have a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In India, on Monday, tensions rose in the locality of Nuh as a Hindu extremist group called for the continuation of a religious celebration that triggered a wave of violence between Hindus and Muslims earlier this month, which resulted in 6 fatalities. The local police deployed almost 2,000 troops in the area after a Hindu religious procession organized by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad group in the Muslim town of Haryana was attacked by a mob on July 31st. The violence spread over the next few days to several cities in the state and left 6 people dead. This forced the authorities to impose curfews and internet shutdowns. In that sense, authorities point out that the event called for this Monday defies the refusal of the district administration to grant a permit to celebrate the Hindu festival, alleging the prevention of the new clashes. In Libya, demonstrators burned Israeli flags, stormed the site of foreign ministry, and set fire to the residence of the prime minister following a governmental attempt to normalize relations with Israel. The entrance of the United Nations headquarters was also set on fire during the protests, sparked by the revelations of a meeting in Italy between Libyan Foreign Minister Najla al-Manghoush and her Israeli counterpart Eli Cohen, aimed at advancing in the regularization of ties between the two countries. Protesters argue that such a meeting is said to have violated core religious principles, for Libya does not acknowledge the state of Israel and supports the cause of the Palestinian people. Demonstrators also stormed the Libyan Foreign Ministry headquarters in the capital Tripoli. The Prime Minister of the National Unity Government, Hamid Dbeibeh, announced the dismissal of Manghoush as foreign minister, and according to local media, following her temporary suspension pending an inquiry, the foreign minister left the country for Turkey. On Sunday in Yemen, at least 23 people were killed in southern province of Lash during armed clashes between the government forces and the Houthi rebels. According to military sources, dozens of Houthi fighters launched a surprise attack against government troops in the Jaffa region of Lash, triggering fierce clashes that resulted in some 15 Houthi fighters and 8 pro-government soldiers killed. The latest attack has tested recent UN-backed efforts to reduce tensions between Houthi militants and the deposed government. Yemen has been involved in a devastating civil war since 2014, and negotiations around are currently underway, which the parties say are at a critical point. On Saturday, tens of thousands of people rallied in Yemen, Niger, in support of last month's coup, a day after the country's new military leaders gave the French ambassador to Niger 48 hours to leave the country. The Seyni Kouchine Stadium, the largest in Niger with a capacity of 30,000 seats, was two-thirds full and vuvuzelas could be heard. Flags of Niger, Algeria and Russia dotted the stands, while acrobats painted in Niger's national colors put on a show in the center of the field. Attendees said they fully supported the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Homeland, the CNSP, which seized power after overthrowing the government of the President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26. The CNSP is focused on not stopping the fighting until the day when there are no more French soldiers in Niger. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.